Hey, everybody. How are y'all doing today? Amanda and Amy, Melissa and Margie, welcome. Um, Everybody's doing great. You notice how I have my screen set up so that I can include the chat in the meeting. So I'm going to show you how to, well, actually, Chris is going to show you how to do that later. But welcome. This is January 17th, and it is week 2 of our semester. We just have a couple of things to go over. Let's start with prayer. Is there anybody here who would actually want to open in prayer, or shall I do it? Any volunteers? No? Okay, I will start. Dear Heavenly Father, we are so thankful for all that you do for us, Lord. We're thankful for the strength that you give us. We're thankful for the patience that you give us. We're even thankful for the trials that you give us sometimes. And we ask that you give us wisdom when we're making decisions this week with working with our kids. And we ask that you do give us more patience. In your name we pray. Amen. So, you guys all doing great? How is week 2 going? Are you already feeling like this? Tired, worn out, and exhausted? Or not bad yet? Uh, Still good. It's only week 2, right? So you're not too worn out yet. Loving it? Good. Excellent. Meh. What kind of answer is meh? That sounds tired, worn out, and exhausted. Going really well. So I was thinking, since you all are such a wealth of information, how would you like to share your tips for time management? Did y'all make any New Year's resolutions, and did any of those New Year's resolutions have to do with time management? Wasting less time, spending less time on Facebook. Specifically, what do you do to stay on top of everything class related? Do you have anything that you do? Google Calendar, it's amazing. Yes. What else do you do to stay on top of things? Hi, Chris. Oh, Excel spreadsheet. Beautiful. Do you have one for every day? I started doing like a bullet journal where you keep track of what you're supposed to be doing every day. You used it once. Oh, I think you're supposed to use it every day. Same with the bullet journal. It's so easy to get started on those kind of things, right? And then you're like, oh, when was the last time that I did the bullet journal? I think it was last October. Anything? Do you compartmentalize things easily? Do you go and like from 6 to 7 every morning you answer email, or from 1 to 2 you grade papers? Do you guys do anything like that, or try to do anything like that? Yeah, realize it's okay if you don't answer a message right away. Absolutely. Yep, and that is okay. I'm a list person too. Linda, how do you work in blocks? Do you actually schedule out your day like that? I know what she's going to say. She's going to say, meh. Right, right. And that's what I try to do too. I was wondering if you do that, or if you have certain other ways that you stay on top of grading. Like, how does one not fall behind, especially you who have, 4 or 5 classes, or even 2 classes with a lot of students? How do you not fall behind in grading? Or do you fall behind in grading? Nobody's behind yet on week 2, right? I know. Good. Deadline oriented. I think that's really good. Following. You're liking it. That's good. Well, be thinking about that, okay? Because I'd like to put together a list of ways or pointers that we can stay on top of everything with teaching. Yeah, so maybe it's a list. Maybe it's keeping track on a calendar, like that Google Calendar. Nice review assignments. Know thyself. Don't overcommit. Don't give 15 assignments that are all long papers if you know you're going to have to grade them all the week that your mother-in-law is coming to visit, right? Know yourself. Okay, so we have just a few things that we're going to talk about today. One is that our invoices are due by next Monday, and that invoicing is going to be the same as you did last semester. And I'll show you where to find the invoice template on our class page. It's changed just a little bit. So remember last time we had you bill for one part of the semester and then 3 parts of the semester? Y'all remember that? Well, this time you're going to just send one bill for the entire semester. So the whole thing. So if you have 4 students and you get paid $100 a student, you're going to send an invoice for $400. Now, one thing that you'll want to include on there is that $50 tech fee. And the other thing that you want to make a note of is, let's say that you teach 5 full year classes and 2 students throughout your 5 classes have dropped. They have paid for that whole year, so that's not going to change. So likely the invoice that you send me is going to be the same number if you have full year classes as it was last semester. Does that make sense to everybody? And then you're going to add your spring classes on as well. So it's not anything that you need to stress about. I'm going to show you where you can find the invoices on our teacher page. How about the self-paced classes? Those are not actually until, I believe it's July, so you don't bill for the self-paced classes again until then. Any other questions? So we're going to talk a little bit today about marketing and how you can market yourselves. Sell sheets, 5-minute sample classes, invoices, which we just covered, and I'll show you where they are, and then business cards. And then Chris has a little tech tip for us, which I'm always excited about. Okay, so there's been like all kinds of information out there about this sell sheet. What is it? And so I want you to think about a definition for the sell sheet. Like, remember when you were in high school and they told you to put your resume all on one page, and it was a way to sell yourself, and it was all on one page, and it was all of the great things about you. It's very similar to that, only you're selling your class. So what's the purpose of it? What are we going to use it for? So we'd like this sheet to go on every single product that we have. So there would be one per class. So that means if you teach 4 different classes, you're going to have 4 different sell sheets. However, all of those sell sheets that you make can be similar in a lot of different ways, and I'll tell you how in a minute. So you're not going to be putting together 4 entirely different projects, if that makes sense. So it's very similar to what you did with your syllabus when you created your syllabus. If you have a syllabus for 4 different classes, you probably went in and you changed just a couple of things for each one of those classes, right? It should reflect you and your personality. So when we put that on a product, like let's say it's Linda Hobar's Mystery of History, and it's on a product in our course catalog, somebody should be able to open up that sheet, and it's not going to be called a sell sheet there, but somebody should be able to open up that information sheet. And yes, I do have examples I'll show you in just a minute, and see, kind of get a feel for who you are as a teacher and what your class is about. Okay, so it's going to reflect you. It's going to reflect your personality. Maybe you have kind of a unique or quirky style. Maybe you're the kind of person who likes lists. And so that sell sheet will reflect that about you. So some of the things that you might want to put on there, your bio and your picture. Obviously, they should know who you are. Our logo and academy information, your contact information and something about you. And then any kind of parent or student comments that you have. Now, if you taught for Landry Academy, and you need some comments, I still have most of those. If people have sent them to me, I have kept those. So you remember we had that email address that you could send comments to, and if you need some, let me know. pictures, like maybe you did a really cool experiment in class and you want to show a picture of it. A picture of you teaching would be amazing. A picture of your actual online class. Anything specific to your class or to you. Does that make sense? Nod if it does, or put it in the type. Good. I'm going to show you a couple of them. Okay, so this is, again, all on one sheet, and it is per class, but let me just show you. This is one that Melissa did. Okay, so this is very similar to her syllabus, you know, as far as the format. She did it all in PowerPoint. Melissa, do you have access to a mic right now where you can come on and tell us a little bit?
Sorry. Let me kick myself off. Can you kick me off my computer?
Alien invasion.
There, I kicked her off. And maybe she can log back in. But you see what she did here is she put her class day and time, contact information, and she really fit a lot into this small one-page space. She's got information about what the materials are that they need. She's got information about herself. Now, in the past, what we have done is we've put a syllabus up, but we don't want to do that for several reasons. Number one being that we don't want people to have access to your entire plan and your entire, everything laid out for the semester and be able to just copy that. So this is maybe a good way for them to get a feel for you. If you have a video that you want to link to, you can put all of that on there. Melissa, are you back? She is.
I'm back. I basically found, because I really work best from some kind of a template, so when everybody was putting together their pretty syllabi and I felt inadequate, I went to Teachers Pay Teachers and I borrowed syllabi from there. I didn't borrow them, I bought them. And then I adjusted them appropriately. And that was pretty easy. And it turns out that on Teachers Pay Teachers, they use PowerPoint a lot as desktop publishing software, which I think is super easy. Like, I just really like that as an option. I really like that as an option because I can put, one thing in front and something else behind something else. It's just really easy to move things because we do that every week. So that made it really easy. I think the really hardest part actually was to figure out how to orient the PowerPoint to portrait instead of landscape. So
I think we lost you, Melissa. Yeah, I think we did. Have you guys worked with PowerPoint at all? With these kinds of things like creating a poster or creating an information sheet? Okay, good. Good. So that's good and that's nice, isn't it? Isn't it beautiful? Colorful, and it kind of reflects who she is as a teacher. Canvas is good. Canva or Canvas? Maybe it is Canva. Or you could even use, Canva. Right? You can even use Word. It's just not as friendly or easy to work with. Now, one of the things, you can use Pages on your Mac too. Absolutely. One of the things that Melissa did was she went and she took Michelle's government template that she had used for her syllabus, and she made it into this cell sheet for government. So you can easily see what, how fast and easy you can just plug in things to that. Michelle is the bomb. She doesn't charge a fee yet. Michelle, are you thinking about charging a fee? I do too. I do too. And being smart, that's awesome. So, do you have any questions about this? Any questions about putting something together like this? deadline, I think, hang on, let me go back because I had the deadline in here, by 2108. So you have a long time to turn that in. Should say 2018. Right, right. So I put these examples on our teacher page, and I also gave you an example of a template that you can use if you want to. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is a 5-minute class sample. And the easiest way to do this is to upload a class, one of the classes that you think is fantastic, to YouTube and cut a piece of it. And you want to kind of be careful about a couple of things. You want to be sure that kids have logged in the correct way, no last names and no cities, because these are going to become public. You want to obviously make sure that you have good content on there and that it includes you as a teacher. And when I say 5 minutes, it doesn't have to abruptly end at 5 minutes. It can be a little over 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes. We're specifically looking for class segments where you're actually teaching, because again, these are going to go on in our course catalog. Somebody can click on that and see, okay, what kind of teacher is Amy? Or how does Mr. Leingang hold a class? So teaching, interacting, engaging, you probably will want to avoid. What kinds of things do you think you would want to avoid in a class? You don't want a 5-minute segment where what? Student presentation day, absolutely. A break, yep. Lecturing the whole time. Maybe one of the kids writes the word but over and over in the chat. You don't want to do that one. Sharing about your week, yeah, well, those are all good things. You probably want to even avoid like opening in prayer or prayer requests, things like that. So, but you could show that. Yep. So, so that's what we're looking for. No. So that's what we're looking for as far as the 5-minute class sample. And so 2 things that we're going to use them for. One is those cell sheets, and the 5-minute class samples are going to go in a course catalog. We probably wanted a little bit, 2.5 minutes. I don't know, send them to me and I'll take a look. Send them to me and I'll take a look. They're going to go in our course catalog. And then we have a lot of different places that we're going to be, Bright Ideas in the Academy. And so Melissa is going to be at several different conferences, and we want to be able to have people print those cell sheets off and watch those 5-minute class samples when we're there. So you can use Snagit if you want to. Sometimes Snagit is not the best quality. So that's why I was thinking if you uploaded them to YouTube, you could actually keep it private and then just share the link with us. Like it wouldn't have to be a public page, but then it would allow you to edit it. And it's pretty easy to edit on YouTube. Yeah, you could use it as an excuse to buy Camtasia, yes. Okay, any questions about that, or for us to buy it for you? Maybe something we can think about for the retreat. Questions, comments about the cell sheets? Questions, comments about the 5-minute class samples? I think it'll be pretty easy to use and to do and to send in. The 5-minute class samples are a little later, and I put the due date on the teacher page. Let me show that to you for just a minute. This is something that, yeah, you can send them to me. I'm gonna actually move this and share our teacher class because I wanna show you a couple of things. Can you all see the teacher class? One is that people have asked about resources such as business cards. And so what we have here in this section is a template for you to create and print your own business cards. And then the second part, actually part 1 and part 2, are all the colors that we use so that you can create your own business card, front, back, and then up here is the logo for you to put on that. So I wanted to show you where that was. The next thing I want to show you where it is the payment of independent contractors. The sample invoice has been updated for you to just fill in your information and then send that to me. Somebody asked if you had to go fill out W-9 paperwork. Again, you do not. All of that information is still, I mean, we still have it. You shouldn't have to fill it out again as long as you're an independent contractor with the Academy, but you do need to fill out the sample invoice. And then the last thing that I wanted to show you is this page, which is unpublished, and I'm going to publish it as soon as we're done here. This is the Marketing Your Classes, and it has lots of information on here that we just talked about. Oops, hang on just a second. It has guidelines for the 5-minute class samples. It has the sell sheet examples, the template, the guidelines, and then it also has the guidelines and the link to the blog that we have. And so this is the link to read the blog. Here is the link to the guidelines, and here is a handy dandy list of ideas for the blog. So those are all resources that are available for you guys, and I'll publish it just as soon as we're done. Yes. Nice. Thank you, Michelle. That'd be great. Okay, last but not least, I have a little tech tip for you. And this, Chris, can you see that okay? I'm going to have Chris come on and explain. He sent these images to me, which I thought were fantastic because he has the steps and he has what's circled. And Chris, if you can come on mic and just kind of walk us through how to include chat in your recording.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you guys hear me okay? You can nod or, yep, sounds good. So I had students early on who were watching my recording and were telling me it was kind of hard to follow because they couldn't see the chat. The chat by default wasn't being included in the recording. So I experimented with the Zoom system until I figured out what I needed to do. And when I set up my classroom, this is how I do it now. I have 2 monitors for my classroom for my computer. And so you can see when I go to set up mine and it asks me, what do I want to share? I always just share a whole desktop. Maybe you have a different setting or a different way that you want to do it, but this is the way that I know works. If you want to try some other things, you could experiment. That's what I had to do every week. I kind of did a little bit of tweaking on different things. So I share my whole desktop, and I need to make sure that you click the button that says it is, and I can't quite see what it is, but it has to do with being ready for a video clip. Optimized for a video clip or something like that. So clicking the optimize button, select the desktop number 2, and then share your screen. And when you do that, it will obviously share anything you drag onto that screen. I just have on that screen my PowerPoint presentation, but I have my PowerPoint presentation set up so that it is not covering the whole window. So, Carrie, I don't know if you've got the next slide for that one. If you
I do.
Can you advance to that for me?
Oop.
Okay. So,
did I do it right?
Yep, I think that's right. I think
okay.
that's on this one. You can see I have set up my PowerPoint slide. It doesn't cover the whole window. When I go to open up your chat, which of course I'm not actually, in the classroom, so if I hover my mouse, it doesn't do anything. It's funny how you do that. You put your mouse right over it, like, wait, the window's not. When you hover over this and you open your chat up, I will drag the chat over off to a side, so it's not covering my PowerPoint at all. But the trick is to make sure your PowerPoint isn't covering the whole window. So I think on the next slide, Carrie maybe has the system where, okay, this is the final. I must be missing a picture in there.
Are you?
On this one, you can see what the final product looks like. What I'm missing is the one picture that shows you how to turn your window into a small window, not to take up the whole screen. So the way that you do that, when you're setting up the PowerPoint, there's a tab across the top for slide show, and then you're just selecting the setup show option. There's a bunch of stuff across the top. You're looking for setup show, and once you're in that option, if you're setting up the show, a little pop-up window comes up and it will ask you the type, and you want to browse by an individual, and it will tell you in parentheses that that will open in a window. And then I just resize the window. You can resize the window to be whatever size you want to use up of your screen. So if there's something else besides the PowerPoint you always want to have out and visible, just make the PowerPoint smaller, and you can see in the recording, the PowerPoint presentation is plenty big, takes up plenty space. The chat, plenty visible. My photo is automatically inserted. When I was worried about that at first, because when I first did this, and when I'm running my classroom, my video is always on my second screen. So if I want to see what I look like, I have to look away from you guys. Now I can see myself. And so my video was not on the teaching window. And at first I thought, oh, I need to drag that over and include that. So this was a part of my experimenting. I originally had my video window small in the top and then the video underneath, or the chat underneath. But what I discovered was that Zoom automatically put my picture there. So by moving my picture to my shared desktop, I ended up with two pictures. The picture of me that I shared, and then Zoom placing on top of it the picture of me recording. And so you don't have to put your picture on it. Zoom automatically puts that up in the corner for you there. So if this is something that you haven't gotten to work, if maybe you've tried it, or maybe you're trying, you are interested, feel free to send me an email, and I can send you the pictures that I sent to Carrie so that you'll have those, or maybe she can post them somewhere for us as well. But it's really not hard to do, and I've gotten a lot of feedback from students about how much they appreciate being able to see the conversation when they have to watch a recording of the class. The only last thing that's worth mentioning is the one complicating factor for students in the live class is that they can see the chat twice. Because they see my recording of when they're in the live class, and they see their own chat. So most students pretty quickly figured it out, although I have had to coach a few students. All they need to do is move their chat window to be over the top of the chat window that they can see for me. So then they only see one, they don't have the double image. That was the only real complication that I ran into. So hopefully that helps you out.
That's beautiful. I love that. And I love that it's recorded in the for the recording. I think that's great. Really good. Oh, thank you, Michelle. Very nice. Very nice. Good. So this was a short meeting. Anybody have anything to add before we continue on with week 2?
I was just going to say about the name change. It's been bothering me for a year because I started using Zoom a year ago, and I find it really annoying, and I would sometimes forget, which my chat wasn't included, so it wasn't in the recording as the wrong name, but it was still annoying. And I was helping a student or something, and I was like, oh wait, I wonder what happens. Oh no, I was helping the Carol. Okay. And wait a minute. What happens if you click here? So anyway, if you go to profile and click edit, where it has like a place to insert your picture, some of you already done that, you can change your name. And I just included, you can see mine, I just put Mrs. in front of it. So mine just says Mrs. Michelle Glandon now. And it's sometimes it's the little things. It made me so happy inside.
It's always the little things, right?
Exactly.
They all add up to a really big thing or not a really bad thing, right? All the little things. Hopefully all good things.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? Thanks, Michelle. That's great. Good. I really appreciate this about you guys, is that you're all willing to like weigh in and give advice and tips, like these kind of tips that Michelle and Chris shared. Excellent. I love it when we can pool our resources like this. Very nice. Okay, look for an email from me this week or early next week confirming your classes for your contracts to be sent. And I think that is all I have. Thanks, guys. Have a good day. Bye.